Addison Rae just posted a video, and fans are saying it doesn't even feel like her anymore. Not the voice, not the vibe, not even the way she looks at the camera. And what people started noticing right after that is where things get really weird. Okay, so over the last couple of days, the internet has been spiraling over what people are calling Addison Rae's personality switch. And this isn't just random hate, it's coming from her own fans. People who followed Addison Rae since 2020 are now saying something feels off, like she's either completely rebranding or quietly pulling away from the persona that made her famous. But here's the thing, this didn't start with just one video. It's been building slowly through a series of posts, interviews, and even who she isn't interacting with anymore. And by the end of this, you'll see the exact moment people think everything changed, and why some fans believe this might not be as simple as it looks.
Like, what's your screen time?
Like 12 hours.
12?
Yeah.
Are you gonna wake for 12 hours?
Yes, I wake up and I check my phone and I'm just like staring at it the entire day. It's literally all I do. I'm like on my phone.
I love when you talk about that because you're so raw about it. It's like amazing. You just own it. But like, do you like that?
I like it when it feels good. Like when
And then you
like,
read one bad thing and you're like, I just ruined my whole life.
my whole like I read a tweet today that was like so nasty about me, and I was like,
you're like, the weather is so nice outside. I want to go get some fresh air.
And the worst is when you read something and it's like, ooh, like why they kind of eat a little too, you know what
you're
I
like,
mean?
wait, because I feel that way about
Yeah,
myself.
it's
so
the
thanks for making
worst
me feel worse.
feeling, and I was like, damn, like I hate feeling like a fraud, and I hate when people are like, there's something else to you that like you're not showing, and it's like that's why I'm so like open and honest about this stuff, because it's like that's like my number one thing. It's like I hate when people
like misunderstand
you or be like, this isn't you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't know. And it's like I feel like for you, it's like you figured out who you were in front of everybody, and it's like, how did you shut out everyone's opinions on that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of what I was touching on with the whole taking a step back from social media thing, is that I felt so misunderstood, but I was sharing so much. And I think I even talked about this recently, actually, because I think sometimes you do what you need to do to get where you want to go. And, you know, I wasn't showing every part of myself, as one mostly doesn't. You know, there are elements of yourself that surely you don't share online that aren't bad. They just aren't things you're willing to share or talk about or, you know, show. And I think privacy becomes really important over time of like, okay, what can I allow people access to that isn't going to hurt me or they're not going to use to make me feel conflicted in my own life decisions that I have to make. And so I think, yeah, being misunderstood is definitely annoying. And it does get on my nerves sometimes. But I think over time, I've realized that, you know, if somebody's commenting that this is not who I am or whatever, or when I was 19, I was more authentic. Like, I'm like, okay, well,
you were also 19. You were a different person.
To understand why this is blowing up, you have to remember what Addison Rae originally represented online. She wasn't just another TikToker. She was the TikToker. Back in 2020, she built her brand on being extremely approachable, smiling, energetic, dancing in her room, replying to fans, and basically embodying that girl next door internet persona. It worked fast. She became one of the most followed creators on the platform, transitioned into acting, music, brand deals, and essentially crossed over into mainstream celebrity territory. But with that kind of growth comes pressure to evolve. And over the past year especially, Addison has been slowly shifting her image. Less chaotic TikTok energy, more curated, almost cinematic content, more fashion-forward, more controlled, more intentional. Which, to be fair, is normal. Most influencers rebrand. But what's different this time is how noticeable and honestly unsettling this shift has felt to her audience in the last few days. Because fans aren't just saying she's changed, they're saying she feels like a completely different person. So let's break down what actually happened. It starts with a series of recent TikToks. Nothing dramatic on the surface. No scandal, no apology video, no call-out, just vibes. But that's exactly what people picked up on. In these videos, her tone feels noticeably different. Her expressions are more neutral. Her delivery is slower, almost detached. And the biggest thing people keep pointing out is that she's not trying to be relatable anymore. At first, this might sound like overanalysis, but then the comment sections started filling up. Thousands of comments saying things like, why does she feel like a different person? I miss the old Addison. Is she okay? And this feels like a rebrand, but also not. And that's where things escalate, because once people start noticing something, they go digging. Old clips start resurfacing, side-by-side comparisons start trending, and fans begin contrasting her old, high-energy personality with her current, more reserved presence. Suddenly, it's not just a vibe shift, it's a full-on internet discussion. But here's where it gets more interesting. People didn't just focus on what she is doing, they started focusing on what she's not doing. Fans began pointing out that she hasn't been interacting with certain people she used to engage with regularly. There are fewer public friendships, fewer casual collaborations, and overall, more distance. Now, none of this is confirmed drama, but in influencer culture, silence is content, and people started reading into it heavily.
We are going to talk about how Addison Rae did this exact thing. So let's get into it. Addison's kind of brand before she really hit it big and rebranded as a pop star was kind of this girl next door, cringy TikToker that a lot of people were aware of, but no one was really a diehard fan of. She really is very ambitious. She is not afraid to adapt. She is very resilient and very persistent. It takes a really strong person to go through all of the hate and backlash that she has in the past and that she still experiences today. She does have a side to her that is very bubbly and charming and upbeat and optimistic. She's very cheerful, she's very high energy, and she's very playful, and that sort of playfulness definitely comes out in her personal brand. Like, she doesn't seem to be taking herself that seriously, and it's really endearing. She is a lot more overtly sexual and feminine, and especially when you combine that energy with the maiden, it comes across as very cheeky and funny and flirty. On one hand, her energy is not that serious, but on the other hand, she's taking herself very seriously, and it's interesting to watch. She engaged in scarcity marketing. It was an intentional business move to completely clear out her Instagram and to go ghost for a little while, to the point where everyone was actually interested in her again, because it's like, where did she go? She was suddenly mysterious because she was limiting her exposure, where in the past she was always online. She started creating source material rather than just following trends. She has been doing a lot more trusting her instincts as an artist. I say this all the time, but you can either be everything for someone, for the girls that get it, like the girls that get what Addison is doing, or you can be something for everyone, which is what she was doing before. Another thing that she's done really well is really leaning in to being flirty and sexy, but not in a conventional way. We as a society, men and women, our attention is naturally drawn towards sexy women, but because she's got the huntress in there, she's doing it in her own way, which is really interesting. Doing a partnership with Charlie XCX and visually aligning herself with Lana Del Rey have all been really strategic moves on her part to kind of solidify herself as someone to be taken seriously rather than just a TikToker. This is your sign. If you have been trying to create a unique personal brand, but just nothing's coming to you and you don't know where to start, enroll in one of my feminine archetypes courses, because I am here to help you and I am ready to work with you one-on-one so that we can develop a unique, cohesive visual brand rather than doing something that no one cares about. So I'll see you in the course.
Then came the interview clips. Short snippets from recent appearances started circulating again. And when you compare those to interviews from a couple of years ago, the difference is noticeable. Before, she came across as super open, almost eager to please. Now she feels more guarded, more calculated, almost like she's choosing her words very carefully. Which again, could just be growth, but the internet doesn't stop there. Once a narrative starts, it builds fast. TikTok creators begin making breakdown videos analyzing her personality change, asking what happened. And these videos start pulling serious views, hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions, which pushes the topic even further into the algorithm. Now here's the part that really fueled speculation. Some fans think this is a deliberate rebrand, a move away from TikTok girl into something more serious, more A-list, more controlled. Others think it's a response, a reaction to years of criticism, scrutiny, and being constantly judged online. And then there's a third group, the ones who think something happened behind the scenes. Because to them, this doesn't feel gradual, it feels sudden. And that's where the theories start getting messy, with people questioning management, industry pressure, even burnout. But again, nothing is confirmed. Just patterns, just observations, just the internet connecting dots. And just when it seemed like things might calm down, another post goes up. And this one only adds fuel to the fire. Because the tone doesn't change. If anything, it leans further into that same detached, almost ironic energy. And that's when fans realize this isn't a one-off. This is consistent. But there's still one detail that keeps coming up in discussions. Something subtle, but impossible to ignore once you see it. And it completely changes how people are interpreting all of this. Here's the moment that really locked people into this theory. It's not a scandal, not a leak, not even a statement. It's the contrast. When fans started placing her old and new content side by side, not just in personality, but in presence, the difference became undeniable. Old Addison had direct eye contact, big reactions, high energy, constant engagement with the audience. New Addison is more reserved, less expressive, more aesthetic-driven, almost like she's performing less for the camera and more just existing in front of it. And that's what made people pause, because it doesn't feel like she's trying harder, it feels like she's trying less. And depending on how you interpret that, it either feels empowering or concerning. Some fans are saying this is her finally breaking out of the expectations placed on her, that she doesn't owe anyone that overly cheerful, hyper-engaging persona anymore. Others are saying the opposite, that something feels off, like she's disconnected or pulling away from the audience that built her career. And then there's the biggest question of all. Is this a rebrand, or is this just who she actually is without the filter? Because if it's the second one, that means everything people thought they knew about Addison Rae might not have been real in the first place. Right now, she hasn't addressed any of this directly. No statement, no explanation, just more content that continues this same energy. And honestly, that silence is what's keeping this conversation alive, because people don't just want content, they want clarity. So now it's your turn. Do you think Addison Rae is intentionally rebranding and stepping into a more controlled, authentic version of herself? Or do you think something deeper is going on behind the scenes that fans are picking up on? Because the internet is completely split on this, and whatever side you're on, people are not changing their minds easily. If you made it this far, you already know this isn't just about one influencer. This is about how internet fame changes people, and what happens when the persona stops matching the person. So comment your opinion, and if you want more breakdowns like this where we actually connect the dots, make sure you subscribe, because this story is definitely not over.